Welcome to Field Service Office Hours. We are here to connect on everything Salesforce Field Service and not only talk about the platform, but even some trends that are happening in field service. So thank you for joining me. My name is Leigh-Anne, and this is a very informal gathering. We are here to, again, collaborate is really the key word. Hey, Melissa. I will share my screen, because we will start first with the manifesto here. We are here to really share insights and level up together. So it's more than just about learning the tool, although that is really important in order to perfect your craft. But we're even here to learn about what is going on in the field service as a business. And we will be the perfect liaison for bridging the business and bring business requirements into an actual tangible solution. So I am here representing Tinker Time Labs and Rafter One. I do want to do a little plug for Rafter One here. They are going through a rebranding exercise, and I got a bit of a download today on what the future of Rafter One looks like, and it's pretty exciting. They are merging with a company called Axiom, which is a data-centered organization. And they've been in this space and usually typically in the marketing space for a really long time. And they've got their own technology and their own products. And so now Rafter One is going to be under Axiom and will be taking on the Axiom name. The logo here will change. A month from now, it will be Axiom, no longer Rafter One. And they're going to do that formal announcement at Salesforce Connections. So, positioning. Oh, okay. So this is not. Yes, I can see the panels totally. Thank you, Pearl. Appreciate it. Much better. Interrupt at any time. We're here to just, make this a good session. I just came back from San Francisco and the Field Service Partner Advisory Board, and we heard a lot. The very first thing I want to share is that field service is alive and well. The way that Salesforce views field service is that it's mission critical and human powered, which is wonderful for an organization like Tinker Time Labs, because we like to work with organizations that are growth minded and that are human centered. So very much aligned with our way of doing business and the way that we see solutions as well. So if we think about the people that drive field service, the situations that they're in, it looks very much like this. Field service spans multiple industries, multiple use cases. It is very dynamic and it is exciting, right? So it gives a lot of opportunity. So Salesforce is very bullish, wrong animal, bullish on field service because of the number of applications that field service provides, right? So very cool stuff. And the way that they are asking us to position Salesforce Field Service is to think about Agentforce as a multiplier to your workforce. It's not there to replace it, it's there to multiply it. So that's a nice way to look at it. At TSIA, I sat in on a session that was delivered by a data center manufacturer. And as we are well aware with all of the technology that is in demand right now, the demand for data centers is growing exponentially, which means the installation of those data centers in whatever data center warehouse that exists is going to be, the demand for installation is increasing, the demand for repairs, the demand for maintenance, all of that is increasing. At the same time, the number of skilled resources is declining because of what they're calling the silver tsunami. So when you have a high volume of work a low volume of people to deliver said work, there's a lot that needs to be thought of. So if we think about people, process, technology, we have to close the skill gap. There's got to be some sort of development pipeline for people to skill up. So improving skills is a number one priority. And then enticing people to pick up a field service technician job. This is mission critical from a people strategy perspective. From a technology perspective, even a process perspective, we'll just smush the two together. That same manufacturer has adjusted the way that they build. So when they're building their servers, they have a number of sensors that they install at the time of build. Part of that sensor requires like a software startup, and then you have to make sure that it's connected back to home base so that it can call home. The way of setting up, or the startup, if you will, they called it a startup job, they would send a team to do the installation at the data center warehouse place. And then they would send another technician. So after the install, to do all of the startup. So basically turn on all the software, make sure there's a connection, and make sure that the machine calls home and run a bunch of tests. They don't do that anymore out in the field. They decided to restructure that piece and eliminate that truck roll altogether by doing it in the factory. So now they're doing all the startup at the time of build, which kind of makes sense. Like, why wouldn't you do that? But sometimes the most obvious thing doesn't really become obvious until after you say, oh yeah, we should try that out. So really interesting way of thinking. So this is the era where we have to rethink our strategy. And the only way to really rethink it is to like really start from the beginning all the way to the end. And then when we go into other slides, it's not just, there's no end. It's cyclical, secular cycle. It's a cycle. That word doesn't flow off the tongue very well. It's a cycle, right? So from sale or from initial, whatever, build to install to maintenance, like this whole thing goes around in a circle. And you have to look at the full process to think, can this upstream process solve something downstream or eliminate downstream? Counterpoint. What if the equipment doesn't start up right at the, yes. So that's totally could be a problem. So Bruce, great question. So let's just say, right? You do your what's supposed to be a plug and play, right? Your data center or your server is installed at the data center. You plug it in. It's not phone at home. Yeah, it could be. Yeah, who knows what it is. One of the things that the speaker spoke about was it's about connected, not just connected assets, but connected systems. So could it be shipping and handling? Maybe, but could it be the power supply at the data center? Like there's not enough power going through, or did that one little cage, did something not get set up there? So it's not just a matter of the equipment. It could be anything. So how do we get visibility to the whole network, the whole system? And that was something, out of level. What do you mean out of level?
So we had a DICOM imaging system in cardiology at Mass General, and it had like hundreds of DVDs in it, and it kept needing repair. And it was because the system, like the rack for them, wasn't level.
Literally, like it would.
Yes.
Really?
Yeah. Yeah. So it would be reliable a lot of the time, but there were some times that it was not reliable, and it's in the back corner and all as well.
Yeah. Wow. That's interesting. So I want to circle back to that. I want to plow through this part because I really want to get to asset service lifecycle because it is freaking cool. And I got access to these slides this morning and was like, I can't wait to share. we're gonna circle back to that one. I think that's going to be good. So now back to this one. They're asking us, they being Salesforce, asking us as implementers to think of Salesforce Field Service as an agent-first field service platform. So this is a pretty cool slide. These are the key features that they are rolling out, they being Salesforce, rolling out right now. So some of these are already GA, and then there's a little bit of a roadmap that we're seeing. So I really liked this tagline. I thought it was adorable. Let humans do what they do best, and digital labor can handle the rest. I felt that was, I don't know, no other word except adorable. Okay, that's backwards. Okay. And we've known this, right? SFS supports every kind of resource, but now, of course, like robotics is a thing. So I don't know necessarily how that's going to work out, but I'm sure they'll have their own little skew too. But yes, we've known that we can do this. And when we build solutions that include that's in equipment, like when we have to schedule one of these, I don't know, diggers, what are these things called, right, to a job site, there's only one, right? It's no different. Like that machine can't be on two different job sites at the same time. So why wouldn't we want to use the same kind of model that we use for employees or contractors when scheduling them out on the job site? It's a very interesting way to look at it. It could be viewed as complex. It does make sense, but that machine can't be anywhere else except for where it is right now. We had a Service Blazer session on Thursday. This is from this perspective of a manufacturing organization, but this struggle is real for field service organizations across the board. The rising pressure to reduce operating costs, customers want longer asset life and faster service. Teams want to do more with less. There's missed expectations, which result in lost contracts. Renewal rates are declining. New customer acquisition costs are rising, and struggle to prove service ROIs to execs. It's not clear to say what value do you provide in a dollar perspective as a service department. If you go out and do preventative maintenance, how does that impact the bottom line? It's not very clear on how to measure that. So this is the biggest pain point that we're seeing. And I saw a slide. I get it. Feel free to screenshot this one. As implementers and service excellence facilitators, we need to start talking outcomes and KPIs. What is the outcome that this service organization is providing to the grander business that we are a part of? And then what value do we provide to our end customers? So this new KPI that I'm seeing is the mean time between failures. I've never really heard that before. ChatGPT taught me that a couple of weeks ago, and it makes sense, right? Like how long does it take like before failure? Because, I think about it with when I try to service my car. Do I really need to change my oil right when the sticker says I need to change it? What if I add a couple thousand kilometers to the odometer before I really need to go get that service? So those are the kind of things where basically squeezing as much juice out of the orange as possible without harming the machine. That's really what we're trying to say here. So yeah. Please interrupt me anytime. Anybody want to chime in on anything before I move on to what is coming in summer? Okay. Outside of what was on the release notes, this is something, I don't even know if this was in the release notes, but this is a new capability, field service intelligence, this operations home and capacity planning. Tableau Next. I don't know if they renamed CRMA or what, but Tableau Next exists and CRMA, I don't think is going to exist. So fact check all of the things I just said there, but for sure Tableau Next is a thing. And from what I remember, all of this was being built on CRMA, but now I'm seeing Tableau Next. So whatever, it's Tableau Next. So this is the thing. It is GA. I believe, no, we don't have access to this. There was a cute little video there that we don't have access to. How come I can't move forward? Oh, there. Okay. The idea is to have the ability to predict where your technicians need to be, what is the estimated number of work orders that we can see in the future based off of trends that we've had in the past, like the resource utilization rate. So a lot more deeper analytics with the ability to take action after that. So the biggest one that we keep asking for is capacity planning on here. No. Is we cover a large geographic territory. The majority of our jobs are down over here, but every so often we have jobs up here. So we have, and then some over here and some over here, like maybe 1 or 2 a month in each one of these spar areas, rural areas maybe, or just cities or towns that we hardly get any jobs. We have one customer out there kind of thing. So the concept of a traveling technician where they start off in one area and you want them to dot around and do some sort of roadshow either every week or every month. How do you predict where to set up the service territory member? Like, I don't want to create a service territory member or a shift on a recurring basis based off of some pattern that I have no idea, and like just call it every Tuesday. There's no data to support that I'm going to have jobs in that region on Tuesdays. Like so the attempt of this product is to solve for that. Don't have a lot of information about it, but I'm going to get more in the next session is what the story is. So if you all are interested in more of this stuff, let me know and I will add more votes to the next topic for Partner Advisory Board. Next gen priming. 550,000 records can be synced now. That's a lot of records, like a lot. The other thing that's interesting about this is that as administrators, we're going to be able to see for each user based off of their visibility, how many records would be estimated to be primed for that user for whatever data set, Bruce case for each user. So it could be that Bruce has 25,000, Pearl has 55,000, right? Thomas has 10,000. We would be able to see by user. I didn't realize that was a big need, but what the product team has learned is that some users had more briefcase errors than others, and like giving the visibility as to why. Like one could be a volume thing, right? And the other ones, because they didn't have access to the same amount of data, they never had an issue. So just raising the visibility on how many records really are coming through on each user's device as another data point when we're troubleshooting, when you get a call saying my mobile app is just spinning and spinning and it's syncing, taking forever to sync. This can help reveal one of those potential issues. The other thing that they're doing is I'm going like bottom up. The sync user experience, there's like a change with the delta. Hold on one second. Let me just pull up my notes. He said something about he being Alok Patel. He's the product manager here. He's been in this space for a few years, and he's been really driving the stability and reliability of briefcase. Very cool. He said, Delta Sync will only apply to the changes for the particular user. So before, I didn't even notice this. Before, the way that the Delta Sync happened was if a change happened in the database, everybody was updated. Like that was considered a sync, and all of the data was updated across all devices. But if you don't have access to the data, why do I need to sync? So it's like you're syncing, but you're not getting any data. So that's a waste. So they changed that. It's not here on this thing, but I will be able to tell you the hero objects are Wally, work order, service appointment, and asset. So you get all those objects for free. And then I think before you were able to get before it was 3 levels deep. And then I think right now it's 6 level deep. Coming soon, it's going to be 9 levels deep. I don't know how many, what is 9 layers below a work order or a work order line item or an asset? I don't know who goes that deep, but now we can go 9 levels. The other thing that's cool is price book entry records are now also programmable. I'm creating words today, or I'm having a linguistic day. And then inventory, I think there's more control over the inventory. So I'm not sure exactly what that means. I haven't dug into a summer org yet, but that's all summer. I don't know if you've noticed recently in the mobile app, but I had pop-ups coming up saying that changes have been made, like metadata changes have been made, resync your app or something like that. So that's been cool. And again, more transparency around what's happening in the app. Anyways, they were really excited about this. Okay. This is super confidential, safe harbor, but they kept this slide there. And I thought that they would remove some of these October ones. So again, this is for real safe harbor. Here are all the things that they've delivered, they being the field service product team. It's a lot. If we look at the release notes, is tap to pay on there? Melissa, when you guys were going through it, and we went through it, Melissa,
No,
no,
I didn't see that anywhere.
So when they released Say Now, there was a demo for field service for tap to pay. And I don't know when that was, 2 years ago. And I was so excited. I thought that was the most clever thing I've ever seen. And nobody knew what I was talking about. When I asked all the product managers at field service, they were like, I don't know what demo you're talking about. I've never seen that. I have no idea what that is. So I was like, okay, I was dreaming. I don't know what I saw. I'm like, who's working on this? No idea. It's a cool use case where you're using Salesforce payments and you have a pay now kind of option. So it could be a scenario where you are again, out in the field and you had to bring in parts, or it was like a pay on site service or something. So now there's no concept of invoicing. You can pay with a credit card and Stripe. While it is built off of Stripe, that's the underlying platform there with the Salesforce kind of layer there to make sure that you can see all the payment intents and what's the other object? I can't remember what it is right now, but I think the payment intent is the key one to see whether the payment went through, if it was a success or not, and what the method of payment was. And then you could use that to maybe that can drive whether the work order is completed, right? The work is closed or completed, and then you could close the work order once payment has been received. You can do some automation like that. So lots of stuff coming in June. It's part of that Agentforce monthly release cadence as opposed to the regular summer release. And I'm excited about that. So I guess next generation priming, I guess everything that we talked about, I guess that's coming in June. And then capacity planning with Tableau Next is coming in June. This field service intelligence and capacity planning, I believe both of these come with the Einstein for Field Service. Yes. When you buy Einstein for Field Service, you get Tableau Next with Field Service Intelligence, and you get some Data Cloud credits. So that's all coming in summer. And then, yeah, I won't even get into any of these ones because we'll wait until it actually comes out in fall or winter. Winter? Yeah. Questions? All these asset ones I'm going to talk about next. Sorry, go ahead.
That's okay. I chatted. So on the far left says GA today is Dispatch Console 2.0 read only. Have you seen that? GA today. Okay.
I'm sure we could try to dig it out in the demo org, but yeah, I'll message the channel, my partner advisory board channel, to see what that is and how to get it going. Is it 2 point? Anyways, I don't know. Right. And it could even be beta. Anyways, I'll get more details.
Yeah. You have to tap to pay to get it.
Yeah, exactly. Okay. I've been a hype girl for this all week. And there's been a slide here that I've been, first of all, the only reason why I have this slide here is, did you know there's 20 billion asset records in Salesforce? That's a lot. And did you know that asset object is special? It doesn't count. It doesn't have a record limit. You can have infinity records in your Salesforce org. It's like the only object that has that, or one of, I don't know. Anyway, this is cute. This is the replacement for Asset 360. It was a strategic partnership that used to be, and that is no longer, with Salesforce and ServiceMax to create Asset 360. They have parted and they built it on core with the industries team. The amount of stuff that's in here is incredible. I'm going to say also, and I should have prefaced this in the beginning, the sales motion that Salesforce is moving towards is an industry first motion, meaning to say, if you're in manufacturing, you're getting manufacturing cloud, whether you like it or not, customer. And part of the reason for that is there's too much innovation and there's too many features and capabilities that are in the industries pack that they're continuing to invest in, they being Salesforce, that it would be a disservice, I say, with a very transparent face, but I actually am aligned with it, which is why I'm uplifting the same message. It would be a disservice to the customers to not give them the industry cloud version of Salesforce. So that means we have to skill up on industries, which is frightening. There is a field service element in industries. The biggest gap that I don't know about with industries is how much field service do you get? Because is it just like a sampler pack taster test? I think the answer is yes, it's just a taster test. And what I think the motion would be is industries plus field service so that they would have the best of both worlds. Yeah, meaning to say we probably have to scale up on whatever industry cloud is our preference. And we have to be mindful to just check to see. So I do want to maybe we can like dive in and see what industries would be the funnest to explore as another session together. But this one, I see time and time again for anybody that focuses on servicing assets. So it's almost, that sucks that it's on industries and just not core field service. This is, if you are not industries, this is its own SKU. So this comes as part of any industry SKU. Like, I think manufacturing and utilities, energy and utilities for sure. I think also automotive cloud, but I'd have to check to see because there's so many industry cloud products. Like, how the heck are we supposed to stay on top of all of it? We're not. But anyway, you get this for free. If you're a field service customer and you want to have asset service lifecycle, you have to buy the SKU. So let's look at what's in the SKU. I'm going to this is another iSource slide, so screening it. We have built all of these custom, maybe using some of the Health Cloud has a SKU for where asset is. I said, is your grandmother?
The patient, basically, that needs,
Okay,
needs to
cool.
be checked in on periodically.
Got
regularly
it. Wow.
scheduled maintenance and tests and such.
Okay, got it. Okay, so Health Cloud has a SKU like this too. Thank you. We built this custom. Sure, maybe using the data model, like of all of the things, that's really what you get is a data model that could support some of these things. One thing that's missing from here that you all need to know is coming is timesheets. Timesheets are included in here, and timesheets is not small. It is robust. It's its own product, or it could be its own product. Bruce has been diving deep because I shared with him all of the stuff that the product manager shared with me. And shout out to Alex, honestly, like really great stuff. There is a partner office hours for timesheets. I think it's tomorrow. And he's going to go through all of the things, take questions from partners. But it is very surprising how deep and how thoughtful. Go ahead, Bruce.
Yeah. So if I could take 2 cents. So where you said, hey, there's a lot of bleed over, let's dip our toe in, find your industry's niche and go drink that Kool-Aid. Yeah. The timesheet piece where it dips in, it brings things from industries that they've had for a while, the business rules engine. And we built a custom timesheet thing last year to go dip out to Workday or ADP or whatever with, if it was this much work and you're in California and you're over 40 hours for the week, it's time and a half from this and this. Or if it's for the day, over 8 hours, it was this. Like built all that sort of custom. Come a year later, because they're incorporating something else that they built out that's rich, this business rules engine thing. It's just imagine you as an admin are building a table or uploading a CSV that has all of this. If the asset, if it's a gold contract and the asset's 3 years or older, service is included, but parts aren't, kind of thing. And it lays all that at the feet of business users to say, let's stock up this table of what all the kooky rules are. But then where you dip back in is like Flow can use those rules. And you maybe learn a little of it, just enough to be dangerous, and say, here's a table. And at the end of it, it comes out, it was time or time and a half. But then you dip back and you put your Flow hat back on and you go, okay, Flow is going to call those business rules engines. And if I know enough about it to be dangerous, or someone else that can be the master of that, they say, or the business folks or legal says, if it's this plus this, it's time and a half. If it's this state in this many hours, it's double time. But Flow calls it and gets an answer. And they built those things to be very responsive for like hundreds of thousands of rows. So where it's not if then else in Flow anymore, it's let the table decide and come back to me with this, that, or the other thing. So that's like the exciting stuff that's under the covers, even if, oh, we already built our time and attendance features, let's move along. There's other automation tools that they bring in from industries that have been quietly simmering away from us that haven't been exposed to it.
Yeah. I think what we're also saying is the knowledge journey is infinite at Salesforce. Just when you think you thought you've mastered something, a new thing gets unveiled and it's like, oh, now you have to go scrape your knuckles to learn this new thing. So thank God for the community and for places like this where we can laugh and cry together as we learn it. But eventually we'll master it. And then now we've got some really cool transformation stuff happening. Definitely, I'm not going to sugarcoat it. There's a lot of tears. But we do still have a lot of giggles too. But look at all of these capabilities with this thing, right? And if we think about the need for service organizations to generate revenue, well, we've got the sales piece there that's included. And then the delivery of those contracts. And one thing that's pretty cool that they were talking about, hold on, let me just make sure I'm communicating it correctly, is when you're out in the field, there's like the ability to set up certain warnings if you are using a part that's an aftermarket part, but the machine is under warranty. With the OEM warranty could be forfeit if you install an aftermarket part. So giving that technician the heads up, either in the pre-work brief or as they're consuming parts, or I don't know, maybe even it's like part of a work plan, work step as they're going through, I don't know, whatever it takes to repair, knowing that this asset is under warranty and that there's a parts kind of thing. That's friendly. I don't know what else to say. Oh, thank you for the business rules, engine learning path, and trailheads. Yeah, it's infinite. Okay. The other piece that was interesting, yeah, and again, so maybe I'll have some more material for timesheets. Maybe we can just spend some time looking at that, because the materials that this product manager shared is like gold. He gets into the data model, like he isn't afraid to roll up his sleeves and get deep. So very cool stuff. Okay. It's a big slide. Okay. It's a data cloud play as well. There is okay, hold on one second. See this CA, connected apps? This connected apps piece, this part down here. Can I activate my spotlight? Yes, this part down here. This is a separate SKU. So even if you are on Industries and ASLM is for free with Industries, if you want to connect your assets to an IoT device, hello, remember Thunder back in the day? This is supposed to be that-ish. I don't know, but it is a data cloud play. So meaning to say all of your telemetry data can feed in to data cloud and be part of your unified single source of truth. Cool. One thing that I heard at TSIA was outcomes-based maintenance. So it's like a step maybe before predictive, where based off of the temperature in the room, if it was hot for a whole week, we're probably going to need to maintain it now as opposed to when it was supposed to be scheduled like 8 weeks from now, because we know that after a sustained period of temperatures over, I don't know, like 95 degrees, it diminishes the quality of your asset, or like it like the fan is working too hard, or I don't, whatever it is. There's dust that happen, whatever, right? Like we know that we need to get out there. That's the direction that Salesforce saw, and this is the offer. So one of the things that I would love to know is, what does it look like out in the wild? That's my cut. Like, this is all a really cool offering and all a great use case that I know about from conferences and customer stories, but I haven't yet seen this out in the wild and out in the field. So I'm really hoping to get my hands on a project like this. So I think this would be really cool.
That would be cool. I shared last week a demo from Salesforce that, or not from Salesforce, but somebody had done, that showed the asset health score. And when it reached a certain point, it would kick off the agent force, would come in and
that's really cool.
Could do a quote. The agent was doing a quote and sending a quote to the customer of, this is how much it's going to cost to repair, and then from there you schedule it. So it was a super quick demo. They went over it really quick, but it was nice looking.
Excellent use case, though. Yeah.
Very cool.
Yeah. So that satisfies so many outcomes in one action, right? Like we've got increased sales, increase the customer satisfaction, extend the asset life. Very cool. All right. Okay. I don't know what to say about this slide. This exists. Okay, here's proactive service. So fun tidbit. This was in January 2023. We were trying to launch the pilot for this, and I was the product manager for it. And one of the companies that was going to be my pilot customer, this is how I found out, right? Like they replied to me saying, yes, we really want to participate in the proactive service pilot. And I tried to add people to the calendar, and I couldn't attach the presentation to the invite because I thought we didn't pay our Google Drive invoice. Only to find out that I was part of the layoff crew. But I was working on this at the time. So it's so nice to see certain things come full circle of like things that you were working on before. So, okay, thank goodness. Like it just didn't just go away. So the time to value one, where that Salesforce Go, where you just spin up your org in what they're calling 2 hours. That was also something that I was working on. So it is nice to see these things come to life. So here's our friend, proactive service. This was not the direction I was going because I didn't even know this was even possible. You know how also sometimes it just doesn't feel like the technology is ready yet? We had so many sessions with the product team to talk about all the various Einstein tools that we had access to leverage this. And yet for some reason, it didn't satisfy what we were hearing from the customers. So anyway, it's very interesting to see that they're taking it along an agent force track. And again, having telematics information tied to it, very cool. Also something I'd love to get my paws on. Part of asset health score. A couple of things. I thought that I would have meter readings or machine temperature readings or all those things. Like I thought that these could be like the readings for each one of the assets. So we have one customer who needs to walk the line and wants all of the assets ordered in the sequence that you're actually walking the line. This is not sortable. So that I asked that already. So if these are the child assets, they're not sortable. It's sorted by the date. Oh my God, he told me. It's sorted by a date. I don't know what the date is. I'll find out.
So the hierarchy is real and true, but the order things at the same level appear are in some kind of wacky date order.
Exactly. It's in some sort of wacky date order. Being told me what it is. He just said it's not sortable. But it's 25,000 in a hierarchy, which is a lot. And also a secret. So you heard it here first. It's a secret. I think there's like a limit, but it can go higher than the limit if you log a case with Salesforce. So it's a soft limit, if you will. So here's like the prediction for this particular asset. Again, I haven't seen this out in the streets. That's gotta, hopefully, I get a chance to see that too. Okay, is that it? Yeah, that's it. Okay, so I'm gonna stop sharing my screen. Anybody have any questions, comments? Oh yeah, it was, in the moment it was horrible. Now it's just a story that I tell. Sometimes it's funny because like, why would I think that Salesforce didn't pay their Google Drive bill? Like, seriously?
One of the October things was that Esri maps. Was there any? Yeah.
You have to pay for Esri.
Yeah.
So if you have Esri, I think the vision is that it's like a map layer that you can overlay. And the original use case again, they didn't speak to it, but from what during the research time when I was there, the use case was more for like vegetation management for utility companies.
Nice. So not so much your asset is in trouble, but your asset is getting overgrown. Yeah.
Exactly.
Totally.
And then I think it was also like topographical terrain maps. Yeah. I never really dug too deep in the utilities space. I only got like really high level like use cases from my teammates who were super in the weeds, no pun intended. And yeah, just know that it was like super, super granular, all the things that they needed to do, the amount of detail they needed to get down to was a lot.
So I stepped away for a little bit and then came back as you were talking about temperature as a potential input. Is that coming from from the NOAA national temperature maps, or is that coming from like an IoT thing that's measuring the temperature at the place, or yes?
Oh, okay. So great question. So if we think about temperature and, okay, first I'll do weather, right? So weather and temperature, like ambient temperature. If there's a sensor, we could take readings from a sensor, some sort of IoT device. But then there's also like weather network API type things where you can feed in the temperature daily for whatever region by zip code or whatever it is. So that weather data could be used for scheduling. It could be used for, I guess, like in this case, as another input towards determining whether or not your asset needs to be serviced.
I think you were maybe also talking about like the immediate environment. And sometimes that comes in with IoT, right? If you're monitoring servers, the temperature's like a number one thing.
Yeah. And then for this particular slide here, the use case that I was speaking about was, you can see my screen again? When we, and this is actually, Bruce, I'm thinking about this, the same customer. I'm like, is there a future where, so the use case is, I'm a technician, I finished the work that I need to do, but in order for me to verify to the customer that their machine is going to run optimally, I have to do 4 checkpoints at different time intervals. So I need a baseline for right now. And then I walk the line of the machine, which has various components. And it's like, it can take them like 10 to 15 minutes to walk the whole line and take the temperature for each component. So I don't know how I don't know if they take I should know this. I should by now, I should have asked this. Are you doing it with some sort of infrared thermometer type thing where or is it because it's oil temperature, I think that they're testing, or is it like they actually have to pull like a dipstick out and it tells me what the temperature is? Like, I'm trying to put myself in the shoes of the tech. Bruce, do you know?
Yeah, I don't know. Or if there are gauges built in, walk and look at that one.
Or if there are gauges built in, just like our utility meter readings, like you just walk and you just read the temperature that's on there. So it sucks to just walk the line and put in the number and walk the line and put in the number. And then 15 minutes later, walk the line, put in the number, walk the line, right? And then an hour later, same thing. And then the next day, 24 hours later. So it is a tedious job. And I wondered, is there a future where your temperature readings are going to be automated? Because do we really need someone to walk the line like that? That sucks. But
yeah, they should be. There's that capabilities out there for sure.
I think meter readings are, a lot of utilities have moved to automated meter readings.
Mm-hmm.
And okay, I'm going to close with one thing here. So I heard from Texina Amano. She's the GM and EVP of Field Service. As we embark and go out there and compare like other features and capabilities that are out there with other field service management systems, particularly, let's talk about Click. Let's just be direct about it. There were certain features and capabilities that Click could do really well. I don't know if meter readings, for example, was one of them, but they had a lot of utility companies that are finding it difficult to move off of Click and onto Salesforce. There are certain capabilities that have been reviewed with great care and consideration, and that have been consciously decided to not pursue building in Salesforce because they'll believe that there's a future in that. So I believe that maybe manual meter readings and things like that is like part of that. Can it be building a customization that in the next, at least foreseeable future, like, are you really going to be doing this task 6 months from now, like 2 years from now? Like, the amount of investment that we're putting in here, like maybe you just think about changing your process a little bit. Do we really need to do this? So like back to the MRI scanner and the level thing, could we have a world where there's like leveler, like a thing that says this is out of alignment and it just self-corrects, like it kicks itself, get it back in alignment? But we did hear a lot of that talk at TSIA, self-healing assets, auto configuration or auto restarts, things that the machines can do on their own, very Skynet, yes, but it's these things or this way of thinking to reduce the truck rolls, to improve asset life cycle or whatever the hours are, the lifespan, that increase that asset lifespan, that's the phrase, and improve customer experience, and then maybe improve the technician's quality of life to actually do more meaningful, probably challenging repairs, right? Going to a site, I'm sure it's an easy day where you just have to press a button to reset a server and then you're on your way. But we have to start thinking this way as well.
Yes. Done.
Let's just all transform now and be robotic.
So are you suggesting that the horsewhip management model and the typewriter repair functionality is backburnered?
On back burner. Yes. Someone else can build that. Basically what they're saying. If you really want it, go ahead. Build it
App
yourself.
Exchange.
Exactly. Exactly. So I appreciate the transparency. Usually they don't share the roadmap at that level of detail to the public. At least they did one release out. So that's very generous. It gives us as implementers and customers the confidence and transparency. Like, what should we build custom? Oh, one more thing. Sorry, I keep doing the one more thing. If we bump into a scenario where we don't have a capability in Salesforce and we are having to do something custom, we have the permission to pull product in and say, is this a good idea or not? Is this on the roadmap? This is the path that we're going down. Because what Salesforce is really prioritizing is return on investment. And if we are over configuring the amount of stuff that we have to build, it's a lot of money to build. Then the amount of stuff that it takes to maintain, it's a lot of money to maintain. The total cost of ownership, we have to be mindful of our contributions to the total cost of ownership by building closer to the box. And then of course, we're going to need mobile flows. And of course, we're going to need like screen-based flows to simplify and backfill data. Like some of those things are just part of it. But if we're building our own timesheets, sure would have been nice to know that this was on the roadmap 8 months ago, or that they were already building it, because looking at the way that product is shaped right now, they've been working on it for a while. So pull them in. Let's raise our voices. Anytime you have a custom config, raise the alarm or bell or whatever you want to do. And let's try to keep things simple. I think that's it. Right on time. Sorry if I went a little over, but thank you all for hopping on, and I'll see you all next time. Oh, I want to send in a survey. We're going to send you all a survey whether or not we want to keep this baby going. And so I'll send you all an email.
Thanks, Leigh-Anne.
Thank
All right.
you.
Thanks.
Thank
Bye.
Great week, everybody.
Thank you.